to the Contingency Plan Podcast. My name is Jedi Master David, and with me, as always, is Darth Austin.
Hello, everyone.
Well, folks, I thought this week would be a good week to go really try a new format. And by new format, I mean old format to the show. So, yeah, I guess prepare for chapter by chapter reread of the new Jedi Order. You ready for this, man?
I am.
Just like the old days.
I expect about a 2-hour episode on this chapter. The chapter is about 5 pages, but there's a lot going on. I mean, a lot going on.
Right, a lot going on. Well,
I mean, Jaina gets pregnant and Jason dies. So, I mean, it's a lot to talk about, you know.
That's very true. That's all very true if it weren't a giant lie. I know this episode...
April Fools.
Yeah, I know this episode doesn't release on April Fool's Day, but we thought we'd do, like a quick 1 second of that. Because we are recording on April Fool's Day, and boy, it's been a doozy. The internet never disappoints, does it?
See, I guess it's just one of those days I wasn't on the internet because it felt like it wasn't even April Fool's Day to me. Like, I don't shop on April Fool's Day. I don't even trust Amazon on April Fool's Day, so...
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I watch some videos throughout the day because, I get bored. And, sometimes when I'm working, I also have to be entertained doubly,
Yeah.
I need double entertainment while working. Well, actually, that's single entertainment because work isn't all that entertaining.
I've caught myself doing that, and my wife will point it out. It's like, you realize you're watching TV and playing your DS at the same time, right? How are you doing both? It's like, well, listen, I got a little bit of ADHD, and I don't like being lost in my own thoughts. I got to have constant entertainment.
Yeah,
it's got to happen.
We're probably in the same boat there because sometimes, I'll throw something on like the Switch and then also have like a video going on the iPad or something like that. So, yeah.
Like, you're not putting much effort into either one, but you're entertained. That's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, it's kind of a mild overstimulation from multiple sources.
Yeah. It's the equivalent of going to McDonald's and getting 2 Big Macs, only for visual entertainment.
So you just buy them but don't eat them? I eat one and then I just hold the other. Goodness.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Eating half of each. It's like you're eating half of each.
There you go. Well, we
do kind of have an April Fool's, though, for all y'all people, because we told you last week we were going to do something, and we're not doing it now because we had a brain fart.
Yeah, we both forgot that The Bad Batch was going to be coming out, and the original plan was to go over Rebels Season 1 for this episode. But, again... not Clone Wars, Bad Batch. The first episode comes out May the 4th. And then the same week on Friday, the second episode comes out. So we're going to switch it back into our, react to episodes mode for the show. I don't know this for a fact, but it's very possible that we might have some shorter form episodes with that in mind. We will also have to get in the what do we have? We've got what was our book? God, I'm forgetting now. Was it Thrawn that's coming up?
I believe so, yes.
See, I can't remember anything. That's why I write this stuff down.
Google.
Well, Thrawn actually isn't for a while. We weren't planning that until next month, so yeah, technically that's a little ways away. But yeah, we were gonna like Afra and Aftermath and New Jedi Order and more Rebels. So yeah, a lot of what we talked about, we will just put on the back burner, and it's fine. A lot of these things, you probably already know about anyway. But yeah, we will stop and get Thrawn Greater Good in once that comes out. We normally wait about a week to get those reviews in, just because I don't care if I'm the first. And guess what?
Plus, sometimes I like rereading half of the book before I do the review.
Well, yeah, true. It is kind of nice to go back through, but we're also not going to rush out Bad Batch. So this episode will drop on the 5th, and we're going to talk a little Bad Batch and some speculation. So the actual first official react to the series will be on the 12th, which will contain the episode from the 4th and the 9th. So it'll be a two episode thing, which I feel like we did before, maybe with one of the Mandalorian seasons.
Probably.
But yeah, we're just not going to rush through it. We're going to try and enjoy it. Obviously, this is kind of, Clone Wars-esque, which, I mean, we both enjoyed Clone Wars, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would say if we had to rank our favorite series, Clone Wars right in the middle between Resistance and Rebels, but we definitely love Clone Wars still.
Yeah, and it was a long series. There's a lot in there, and it grew up a lot. It grew up a lot during its run.
Truthfully, Ahsoka probably has one of the best character arcs when you think about how much you grew up with her.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, a little bit more into Anakin, the Jedi Knight, Obi-Wan, and I mean, just everybody in general. So you get to see you get to see a lot more intimate look into a micro time period that I mean, it had a movie.
Yeah,
but there's a lot to Clone Wars.
A movie about saving a baby Hutt.
That's not the movie I was talking about, but okay. I was talking about episode 2, the Clone Wars.
I'm talking about the Clone Wars movie, the animated Clone Wars movie that started it all.
Yes. Well, I don't remember the date, but I'm here. I believe here pretty soon we will be getting the actual original Clone Wars animated series on Disney Plus as well. So we'll probably have to
like the Samurai Jack style one.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So we'll probably talk about
that
as well. Get that in somewhere. I mean, it's not like I'm not sitting in front of a computer with tabs open about what I was going to talk about. So I should probably just look it up.
Yes, the Clone Wars series where Mace Windu slightly crushes the heart of Grievous, but doesn't kill him. It's amazing.
I don't remember anything about it, to be honest with you.
I watched quite a bit of that growing up. I enjoyed it. But again, that was around the same time I was really into Samurai Jack, and it was about the same fighting style animation, so I was obsessed with both.
Well, it says in April. Looks like April 2nd, so tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
I'll be darned. Well, there you go. We won't talk about it.
April Fools.
Yeah, well, it's not. This was written last month in March. So
cool.
So we'll probably I don't know. We'll fit it in. At some point, and kind of
That's
talk.
Like
talk
2
seasons,
seasons.
I think it's
shorter.
Yeah, I think it's 2. I don't think there were a ton of episodes per season either.
Yeah, they're super short episodes too. I think they're around the same as your general Rebels, Clone Wars, around 20 minutes, 24.
God, I thought they were actually shorter.
They might be anime style, like 15 minutes. Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. You did watch Samurai Jack. I think I remember you watching that when we were younger.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
I saw a remake that someone did. It was like an England's English remake of like a knight, and they redid this. It was the intro song, but it was like a knight. Oh
yeah.
A British knight being sent, or a Crusades knight being sent back, and like Aku was some other thing. I don't remember it now, but they remixed the song and everything, and it was actually pretty cool.
Nice. They actually made I want to say 4th season. They kind of did like Clone Wars style. They made one like, a ridiculous amount of time after the last season, kind of wrapping everything up. It was pretty good. For all our Western anime nerds out there.
Yeah, I mean, which is totally me. Oh, yeah.
Well, there really isn't a whole lot of Western anime when you think about it. I mean,
no, and
it's a very niche genre like Avatar and Samurai Jack.
Well, you know what's funny is that I actually saw a meme about that recently too, and I don't remember what the actual like anime or whatever was in the meme, but it was like, something like, I don't even remember the year now. It was like early 2000s, but it's like, why did Western anime just stop here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because there's nothing now. There really isn't. Everyone's into Japanese anime, and it's just not a thing anymore.
Yeah. So 3 seasons consisting of 25 episodes.
Per or total?
No, there are 25 episodes altogether, ranging from 2 to 3 minutes, while the third season was 5 episodes of 12 minutes apiece. So very short.
Oh, wow.
Very short.
I forget how short they were, I guess.
Yeah. See, like I said, I probably did not watch the entire series.
Yeah.
I remember the animation style, and things pop up and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. But yeah,
I remember Yoda did some pretty sweet stuff in this series, so looking forward to seeing that again.
Yeah, it should be interesting. So we can probably blast through that pretty quick. Maybe
it's like 2 hours of content, probably.
Well,
Maybe
what I'm thinking we could do is just take a season and tack it on to an episode, because our episode recaps have never been particularly long.
Yeah.
With anything, and maybe just to keep people engaged longer. They've been loving the 2-hour episodes. That's what I've been hearing from the dead space that keeps.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. When you want to hear a quick review of a book to see if it's worth your $15, you want to spend 2 hours on it, and you want to know how our day's going. I know you do.
That's very true. and planning our future episodes on the podcast. It's good. It's good stuff.
You know how some YouTube videos like block it off and do sections now where you can easily jump to the sections? We should probably do that, and like right in the middle of the 2-hour episode, we just have a big label that says "Start here."
I don't exactly know why, but I think that actually kind of annoys me. It's like with their stupid sections and stuff. It's like you try hards. How hard you gonna try today?
You know what that tells me when you have sections? It's like clearly you have a decent like 10% block that's nothing but ads. Just
there's certainly that.
Money.
But I'll tell you what, and I will tell you this, and I will tell the audience this. If I could sell out today, I would sell out.
Well, yeah, it's good money. I mean, it's better money than what we're making right now.
So let me tell you about DraftKings.
And after that, let me tell you about Dollar Shave Club for Men.
MeUndies and ExpressVPN. Yeah, all the popular ones. They're all clamoring to our door, man. They're like, oh, dude, we gotta sponsor this podcast, man. Yeah. There are no sponsors.
It's funny. There's a podcast I listen to from time to time. It's kind of a pretentious one. It's called the Minimalist Podcast. It's just something I put in the background. But they start every episode with, "Today's episode is sponsored by no one because advertisements suck."
Yeah.
It's like, I appreciate that, but you're probably not paying the bills with that, brother.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, obviously, this is just a fun project for us. We're not banking on ever relying on the podcast to be our livelihood.
Yeah, the T-shirts will take care of that.
Whenever I finish that design. But my bigger point is that if you are in it to, for the long haul, and that's what you're trying to do for a living, yes, you are going to sell ad spots.
You have no choice.
Period. Because places like YouTube are not going to run enough ads. Well, let me put it this way. You would have to go viral on every video in order to make the amount of money needed to actually do that.
And hope you don't get demonetized.
Well, that's very true, because that obviously that happens a lot too. But all I'm saying is that it's a pretty tough world, and you really have to stand out above the crowd now in order to make that sort of life happen.
Yeah, and if you can, good on you. I'm not going to give you crap for that.
No, not at all. It's
Most
awesome.
of us aspire to that.
But not me. But I
we
would.
We might not put
I
the
would,
effort in, but I would gladly do it if it fell in my lap.
I would sell out in a second. I would sell all of you out listening. Every last one of you.
You know what I would do? I would play a YouTube video for my boss and be like, yeah, just listen to that. This is why I'm quitting today.
This is my 401k right here, man.
I am making more off this video than you do a year. Goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, yeah, it's pretty amazing how some people get it done and then how others don't. You know,
Like going old school like PewDiePie. It's ridiculous. Not that I think he's what everyone should aspire to.
I never
be,
got him.
The potential for earnings.
I just
for what you're doing.
I just
is
never
ridiculous.
got him or like Ninja.
I don't either.
I just never got it. It's like
like
cool,
even
but
going into our space, like with your Star Wars theory and people who've put a ridiculous amount of effort. Those people don't half-ass their videos. They put a lot of thought into them. So,
oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, we're not a video podcast, and I don't really want to do that because I don't want to do it.
be seen. You don't want to be seen.
No, I don't care about being seen. It's just I just don't want to have to spend the time and edit.
Yeah.
And then, you have there are expectations for video, anything, interesting.
And when you get into
pops,
into that, you better be making money, truthfully, because it's got to be worth your time.
Yeah, for sure. But we're pretty content with what we do, obviously. So anyway, about 20 minutes in here, how was your week?
Not too bad. It's just a perfect example of living in Ohio, though. It's like 70 degrees Monday, and it snowed today.
Yeah, it didn't snow here, but it has been pretty cold, which kind of sucks. But yeah,
You're finally getting out of that winter depression, and then boom, it's back on you.
No, I mean, I think it was very real this year. The lockdown in combination
It didn't help
with a reasonable winter. I mean, we had a reasonable winter. It was a little bit harsher than what we've had in the past few years.
We don't have very harsh winters, though. I can't complain about our winters.
Well, we can, and we have. And this one did dump a lot of snow, but it was well taken care of. So it wasn't like it wasn't really anything that wasn't almost immediately taken care of. I mean, that's something that Ohio has to invest in, like many of the states in the north and northeast and so forth. You just have to invest in that kind of stuff in order to make it run. But I will say, and I've been saying it for years, and we've had mild winters, I'm like, I want to get a tiny snowplow, like a little gas snowplow, not an electric one. I don't want an electric one because electric's stupid. But and I did. I have a large driveway, and I shoveled it, and I shoveled my neighbors, and it sucked, and it hurt, and it's like a little snow blower would be
after the second
awesome.
time. It's like, I would put an entire paycheck into this if I had to. I don't care.
Yeah, no doubt. But no, yeah, it's been good. It's been obviously been talking about it, but it's nice to get out and just walk around and so on and so forth. Do a few things, doing some projects. I'm getting hit with a little bit of, vehicle repair. So
just a little.
Well, I mean, it is. It's not. It's a bit more.
It could be worse.
Yeah. It's not mechanical. It's more cosmetic. Unfortunately, some moisture got into one of the wheel wells and caused some rusting. So, long-term fix is kind of to cut the section out, weld in a new section, and then away you go. So yeah, that'll be 2 weeks from now. I take the truck in to have them do that. So I'll be about $1,300 poorer. So if you guys want to contribute to that Patreon, help me out with my repair. No, I'm just kidding. But it's a small shop. I prefer going to small shops. I don't like going to larger shops. Honestly, you can get better deals at small shops, and you actually know the people or get to meet the people.
Well, you're helping a local business instead of a big chain doing that as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I had to call around too because not a lot of people really want to
I'm
do
sure
it.
you did.
They will, but like several grand, several thousands of dollars.
Well, yeah, because they're quoting that to get you to not do it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I should have just had you like rear end me or something, and then just we not report it, but then I have to report it to my insurance. Yeah, somebody totally rear ended me and then just ran away.
In my driveway.
In my driveway.
Which is about 10 feet away from a sidewalk, and there's no way anyone would rear end me.
I was parked horizontally for some reason instead of the normal way, and he just backed in. I don't know. Goodness.
Blame the neighbor. Just blame the neighbor.
Yeah. But yeah, such a stupid thing to happen, but it is what it is. That's one of the risks you run, man, with cars.
Well, especially where we're at. I mean,
well, yeah, the salt corrosion
It's one nice thing about living down south. Yeah, it's more expensive, but hey, we buy a vehicle, it lasts for like 20 years, and it looks brand new still.
Of course, the only thing you have to watch out is a good deal on a car could mean a hurricane-damaged car.
Yeah.
This
car has no rust, but it has been underwater.
Well, I'm pretty sure I told you the story of that one, whatever it was. I think it was a Ford Fusion that I tested out a year ago, 2 years ago, that I figured out was a hurricane-damaged car from North Carolina. But yeah, it was so unsafe. The transmission was going out. It wouldn't get into gear.
Didn't you like pull out into the road and turn right back around on that? Or was that the Focus?
I don't remember. It was a Ford something, but regardless, I pretty much made it out of their lot. I drove like maybe 100 feet. It started to it wouldn't engage into first gear. And it's an automatic. So it wouldn't engage into first gear. Eventually it clunked in. But yeah, I was trying to overheat
It's got
a little
no
bit.
transmission fluid whatsoever.
Well, I think it was just screwed. So anyway, they were asking way too much. But enough car talk. I guess we can go ahead and just run into our current topic, which is the Bad Batch. Disney is doing a lot right now in order to bring people to the app. WandaVision, which I still haven't watched. Falcon and the Winter Soldier kicked off here recently. And now on the Star Wars side, we have Bad Batch. There's been some more sort of like general rumblings about the whole Visions thing, which is, I guess, anime Star Wars stuff, which I'm just not interested in. But Bad Batch was one of those things that I don't think either of us were super duper excited about. But I think if it
filler.
Well, if it winds up being okay, I don't think we'll complain.
No, if it ends up being more Clone Wars, I'm fine with that. But we have to have, I don't know. We'll get into it, but like we need a little better character development than what we had in the 4 episodes we got with them, I feel like.
Yeah, and we also thought we'd just kind of recap what we have seen of the Bad Batch, which was in Season 7, Episodes 1 through 4, which when we were going over this episode by episode, I had said that I had seen footage of this at the year before at Celebration. And, basically they had some of this already done like a while ago.
Didn't you have like the fight scene with the little shield that Wrecker was walking around
Yeah, that
with?
was the thing. And actually, just as a slight caveat to that, actually, it premiered years before, but we got more of it at Anaheim. It actually premiered, or snippets, I think, of it were shown in 2015 at Celebration in Anaheim. So,
which is ridiculous when you think about the time span to make this season.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is that they had a lot. I think they had a lot of this done. I think they had the first 4 episodes done. I think, and this is just pure speculation. I think that there was going to be another full season, honestly. And then I just think it got axed at the time. But yeah, so they was originally screened in 2015, and then something I pulled up. It looks like it was also available on like StarWars.com in 2015 as well, and this was all in April. And then obviously it comes, and then we have the final season last year in 2020 in March. February, what it started in like late February and ran through like May. So, yeah. So the Bad Batch was already conceptualized a long time ago. I mean, it is what it is. But the idea of kind of different clone troopers had been explored in the series before. And this is just kind of the first where we had an actual unit of them.
Yeah.
So in our 4 episodes we got titled The Bad Batch, A Distant Echo, On the Wings of Kirdax, and Unfinished Business. We pretty much follow the Bad Batch as they... what was the planet that they were fighting on at that time? Do you remember the planet's name? It starts with an A. Let me see if I can find that real quick.
Yeah, I'm looking as well. I can't remember it now. Just
Anaxis.
watched the episode yesterday.
Anaxis. So we're fighting over Anaxis, where the Republic had like fleet building, and the Separatists were winning the war.
Yeah, pretty handily.
And what they wind up thinking, and this is Cody and Rex come through here, and basically it feels like our tactics are being just countermanded. It feels like they know them, and like some of these things are maybe stuff that me, i.e. Cody, or Rex, and Echo had worked out beforehand. So Cody brings in the Bad Batch as an unconventional piece of the puzzle, something that they couldn't readily predict.
Unpredictable.
Right. And throughout the first, 2 episodes, it winds up being a rescue mission because we learn that Echo survived. And he is being used by the Techno Union, which still... The Techno Union. It feels like a funk song or something.
Group.
Yeah, like some 70s Studio 54
like some
dance
Daft
group
Punk stuff.
Now up on the stage, the Techno Union. Anyway, so the Techno Union is using Echo, man and machine fused type of deal, in order essentially to give them battle strategies. Well, they're able to rescue Echo, and the Techno Union does not disclose to who is the Separatist admiral's name?
Trench.
There you go. The spider guy. The spider.
Yeah.
I do. Honestly, I do kind of like him with his. He strokes his. Not mustache, but Anyway.
His little fangs that are half cut off.
Yeah, I'm not. That was the thing. Is I'm not really sure if it was supposed to be a fang or just some Anyway, but I mean, whatever. So the Techno Union doesn't tell Trench that Echo's gone, so they concoct a plan to basically plug Echo back in and feed them false information, thus allowing the Jedi and the clone forces to turn the tide. Which indeed they do. Now, there are a couple of interesting things here just from the Anakin perspective, Anakin, Padme, Obi-Wan, the relationships, but that's not really the point of this episode. We've went over that ad nauseum in our Clone Wars episodes, so if you guys want to go back and listen to those, they're obviously still available. So feel free. But I think our big thing is kind of looking at the profiles of these, Clone Force 99, the Bad Batch. So, who's your favorite? who you picking for your schoolyard kickball team?
My favorite, least favorite. No, I'm kidding. Well, I can go ahead and tell you right now, it's not Hunter. I'm not a big fan of Hunter. Crosshair is like kind of just barely above him. He's got a couple of cool things he does, but like, okay, first off, even for a mutated clone, he looks nothing like a clone, and that just bothers me a bit. Like, you can't even compare him. So it's really between Tick and Wrecker for me, and honestly, just for the entertainment value, I hate to say it, but I would say Wrecker's probably my favorite because I can't really take any of these characters seriously, so
Yeah.
I guess I'll pick the most entertaining one.
Well, I mean, they're in a way they're kind of cliches. Hunter's
Yeah.
sort of like Rambo looking.
Rambo. Yeah.
Crosshair is pretty much any like Russian sniper from any film from the 90s. Wrecker's kind of like the big comic relief.
Team Fortress too.
Yeah, that exactly. Yeah, that's what you said. And then Tech is, I mean, he's just kind of they pumped everything into his brain and not into his body,
Yeah,
So
unfortunately, it's kind of a generic character trope. I mean, he's useful. He's probably the most useful out of all of them by far,
Yeah.
but it's just so generic that I can't really side with him.
Well, I mean, as an asset, he probably is the most. But I mean, really, when you think about it from like Battlefront 2 perspective. You have a heavy gunner.
Yeah.
You have sort of like
sniper.
You have your sniper. You have your front line, and then you have your officer. And
Yeah.
tech would technically be the officer when we're talking about the game, like
Right.
mechanics.
Yeah, whereas, I mean, Hunter would just be your basic commando who could use every weapon. Not very well, but I mean, he can do a little bit of everything, and
Yeah.
he's versatile. But like, honestly, when you start to break it down, you can't even do it. But I'm going to. Echo's the most important member of the team, in my opinion. But I also have a predisposition to liking Echo from the series.
Yeah, and that's what we got in the final episode of the Bad Batch arc for Clone Wars Season 7, is that Echo joins the Bad Batch, because essentially at this point he's got
deformed, and he's not able to carry out what any other clone would be able to do.
Well, he's got one mechanical leg. I think he only had one mechanical leg, correct? Or did he have two mechanical legs?
I believe it's both legs and then the arm.
Okay, both legs, and then he has an R2D2 arm.
Yeah.
I still don't understand how you tap into computer ports with a flathead screwdriver, but there you go. That's all you need
Star
in this
Wars,
universe.
you can. I mean, it's
just how many
simple
times you
enough
rotate
to make
it.
sense.
Whatever. So yeah, I mean, Echo. We know Echo. I mean, he was former ARC trooper, and we followed him. We followed his arc, and his friends, and just everyone who's been
His
around him.
sacrifice.
Right. So, yeah, I think it's a good addition. I think it allows people to kind of maybe have some investment in how this troop does in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing too. A lot of times we talk about representation, and I think in cartoons and anime we do a fair amount of representation of kind of the outcasts, outcasts doing good type of thing. Clone Wars wasn't really like that, though. It wasn't the outcast. These are the best of the best of the best clone troopers, sir. And then, your
Yeah.
OP Jedi. So now you're potentially seeing and this isn't meant as a slight, but the freaks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're
they're
seeing
not
the
incompetent, but they're just not the norm.
right. But the thing is they can be very effective because they are unpredictable and they don't necessarily follow orders, or at least don't follow them well. So, yeah.
Which brings up a few questions worth talking about later on in the video as well.
Right. Very true. But yeah, I think that, well, okay, let's just go through it. So again, we have, your favorite Wrecker, right? So Wrecker is huge. He's big. He's freakishly strong. He's the
He
juggernaut.
can lift a transport vehicle for no reason whatsoever.
Well, he's the juggernaut.
Yeah.
Bad word. Insert here. Tech, obviously the brain. Hunter's
His
like
ability's just kind of lame.
well,
I'm
he
sorry.
has enhanced sensory abilities. That's the way they put it. But what we made fun of in our original run through was it sounded like he was just like a compass.
Yeah. Well, and the problem is they really didn't display his ability like they did everyone else's. I mean, even Tick got a very good portion to show off what he could do. Calculating where to throw the EMPs and the little shield mission, and basically saving all of them when Echo's about to give their location away, hacking into the system. He's useful throughout the entirety of it. He keeps them together. But Hunter is just like, yeah, he's the leader, but like, what made him earn that? He doesn't have the coolest ability. He's just the most normal, unfortunately.
Well, and the other thing too is we didn't really see Hunter lead anything because at this
he tells
point,
Wrecker to put people down. That's about it.
right. Well, in the beginning, you had Cody, and then you had Rex, and they were both in charge at one point or another. So yeah, seeing his leadership skills it was non-existent in this. But yeah, Tech probably is again the most useful technically. Like I think he's one that could probably fit into about any troop as like your standby guy, your backup guy, your tech guy,
Yeah, the hacker.
Yeah, the slicer. We don't slice in this
slicer.
universe. We don't hack. We slice.
Fine.
And then Crosshair is just a sniper. I mean, I'll tell you honestly, he's probably, in my opinion, he might be the most unimpressive because at least with Hunter, he showed some hand-to-hand with the knife, being able to kind of get up close in quarters and take out some bots. But like Crosshair is just a sniper. He's just a good sniper.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he shouldn't be so unimpressive because you see him take down a ridiculous amount of droids, but it's like you're a sniper in close quarters 90% of the time. You're kind of the least efficient one of the bunch. Like, he doesn't snipe all that much in this series.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like a one-trick pony, truthfully.
Yeah,
He doesn't have anything else.
True, but a sniper is very useful.
True.
I mean, it can be very useful.
I wonder how much better he really is than any other sniper. I mean, yeah, it says he never misses, but like we've talked about, like he's got some weird shots, but I don't know. I just don't see how he stacks up to the rest of the group.
Yeah. He's just an expert marksman, like beyond, I will say like beyond expert marksman. He is the
and they
expert.
really don't. Yeah, and they really don't. They don't dive into that, like, what's his mutation that causes him to be a better shot?
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, so is it like, I would assume eyesight probably has impeccable eyesight.
Dexterity and agility, I guess, would be, really high, but
well,
they don't showcase him and they don't showcase Hunter very well.
Probably, I mean, just the general
math skills.
Well,
just to calculate the shot.
Yes, you would have to assume so for trajectory and if you were wind or there again. I mean, that's bullets. We're thinking more of like snipers in our world from like rifle with.
How do you do that
projectiles.
with blaster bolts?
Yeah, so whatever calculation you have to make for long range shots. I mean, there's
right.
We know from Battlefront there is drop, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, I would have to assume maybe some other physiological things like a lower heart rate, keeping the heart rate under control, having some sort of like
control.
Yeah, control over the breathing. Probably some, enhanced mental acuity, stuff like that. So Probably just like a better overall trooper.
Yeah.
You-
Yeah, like
you know,
you're not necessarily just a better sniper. You might be better at everything, but
maybe
we don't know.
Or maybe it's more of a natural thing, and that's kind of the more miraculous
Reflexes.
that he doesn't have to. Yeah, and reflexes would probably be a good thing too. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, again, I don't want to like try and like knock them all, but we didn't really get a ton about them. This was a Rex and Echo sort of thing with touches of, Anakin and showing sort of Anakin's sort of, stuff with Padme and his sort of turn, maybe killing people or whatever and doing,
the trench thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Dastardly music.
Well, I mean, he did try and shock him, so I'd stab him through the heart too, I guess. Is that where a spider holds his heart, like where we would have a heart? Is that where spider?
I really don't want to know where a giant spider creature about the size of me has its heart.
Hey, man, you never know.
I don't ever want to need to know that.
You never know, man. You might meet a camel spider out there.
All I know is I just need to slice off its mechanical legs, and it will be kind of dumbfounded.
It would have been more dark if he cut
real
off
legs.
his real his real appendages. But
it's like, I don't have these limitations of a Jedi, but you didn't really hurt him.
Yeah, it's like you didn't really hurt him. Yeah, he's like you just cut off the anyway. So I guess we can start sort of talking about the trailer a little bit. I didn't really look at much of the response to the trailer. I know just on the main like Star Wars account on YouTube, it has 89,000 likes and 7,000 dislikes out of 1.5 million views.
That's about what I would expect.
Yeah.
I think the Bad Batch was pretty well received, so I'm not surprised by that.
I kind of have a bit of I have a bit of a suspicion that there are definitely a lot of people who just, still are kind of in the mode of,
more Clone Wars.
Well, no, I hate Disney and what are they doing to my Star Wars and everything.
Well, listen, this doesn't really take away from... I mean, it's just kind of following the fall after 66. I don't think it's taking away from your Star Wars by doing any of that. I mean, you get a little character building, you get Tarkin. So I don't think this is really taken away.
Well, yeah, but I know. I think it's more, the anti-Disney sentiment. Yeah, there are a couple of hashtag fire Kathleen Kennedys in the comments here. So,
but Clone Wars was around way before Disney, and this is just kind of a continuation. So
I understand that.
I don't hate Kathleen like most people, though, so I'm not going to really defend that, I guess. I don't have an opinion one way or the other of her, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, again, would we have liked to have seen a different direction for the sequels?
Sure.
Probably. Does it matter? No, not really.
Do I deserve to get my Star Wars and everyone be left alone, ignored? No.
Well, yeah, it's not just
it is what
either.
it is.
It's
the next generations,
Right. So, I don't know. I think it's still a little weird, and just stay off Twitter.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Just stay off Twitter. It's a dumpster fire, and it always is a dumpster fire.
Probably from day one it was.
Well, and I'll tell you another thing that I kind of dislike, and this isn't a poke at anybody. I understand the sentiment, but I feel like I don't know. I think I've talked to somebody about this. I might have even talked about you with it too. But like the idea of followers, like when you lose a couple, like some people just get really upset about losing a few. It's like, honestly, you're probably losing them not because they're unfollowing, but because the darn systems and all these things constantly do it. I have that problem on my YouTube page all the time. Like I'll lose 5, but then the following day or whatever, I'll gain like 10. And it's like, it's just the systems. And Twitter's notoriously bad about that. We have that problem too, where we'll be like at, I don't know, say 100, and then it drops to 94 all of a sudden. but you still have everybody there. It just doesn't show in the numbers. I mean, that stuff happens like legitimately all the time.
Yeah, analytics are never perfect, so I really wouldn't worry that much about that. Some people get obsessed about it, but
Well, it's the pursuit of
truthfully,
followers.
even if
It's weird.
well, and truthfully, even if it isn't that, as you grow, you're not gonna continue to make everybody happy. You're gonna diverge into one path, and you're gonna lose people. But as you lose those people, hopefully you're going to gain more people who are like-minded and actually can enjoy the content you're truly producing. So,
yeah, no doubt. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive into the trailer a little bit here.
Tarkin.
I'm going to pull it up, and if you want to pull it up, we won't. I don't know. I guess I said we weren't going to do frame by frame, but I'm going to use it as a reference.
Short,
so
I mean,
I'm not going to. I don't want to react to it frame by frame, but we'll
Right.
I'll have it in the background, and we'll kind of play different things that we kind of feel are interesting. But the first kind of big thing here is that this is essentially when the Empire has taken over. So this is after the Clone Wars. And it brings into light kind of an interesting question. Did the Empire think about creating a bigger clone army? Did they potentially want to see how the clones are going to work out? Because I always got the impression that they kind of just kicked the clones to the curb.
Well, they phased them out very quickly. I mean, they were, at that point, the main army, at least the first generation, were getting a little bit older and not as, they weren't as strong as they used to be. And it never made a lot of sense to me because it seemed like they'd be a lot more controllable, easy to deal with. Just seems like with how Palpatine was, clones would be the perfect army for him. But yeah, they were just kind of thrown to the side.
Yeah. But we do enter the trailer with the Bad Batch taking out some droids as Tarkin looks on, and this is on Kamino. We have some of the Kaminoans. However, Tarkin does mark kind of their potential disobedience and everything, and it feels like. What's he testing them for? Like, what's the test for? Is this potentially like, are they trying to engineer super soldiers? Is this maybe the point where we're at where it's like
beginning of the Dark Troopers?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that's a good call. So we're not just doing normal troopers who have all these personalities. We're gonna try and do enhanced soldiers that will help conquer where we haven't conquered quite yet. So maybe that's what's going on here. I don't know. But it kind of seems like they're having trouble adjusting. We get that little scene with like Hunter riding off on a speeder. Do you think that's his?
Probably not.
I mean, because again, they seem
probably on leave and he just steals it.
Yeah. I mean, they seem maladjusted. And, unfortunately, this does happen with veterans at times where they get back and they've been traumatized and they haven't necessarily been able to be like really helped. I know you probably know some folks who have served. I know quite a few, and I know some who've had a really hard time just reacclimating back to society.
Well, also imagine like people here can't really relate to that, but like imagine serving one military and then it just completely shifts to another in your homeland.
Yeah.
And you're trying to adapt to the different changes, how they want to deal with civilians and whatnot and what you're fighting for. I mean, there had to be a crisis of faith for most of the clones at that point.
Well, see, that's actually where I think we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves because we were talking about Commander Cody. And for some reason, I kept thinking that he had died, but he didn't. He actually participated in the enslavement of Kashyyyk. It's kind of muddy after the series, but I actually think that a lot of those clones kind of fell in and were just because they had the darn chip in their head. I mean, this was all the Jedi betrayed us, but the Bad Batch, I don't think that the Bad Batch have chips.
Well, they make a comment through the 4-episode arc. It's like, well, who's your commander? Who do you serve? It's like, well, we really don't serve anyone. And that just kind of leads me to believe that, no, they do not have chips at this point. And I just,
Yeah.
could you imagine them, turning on the Jedi? Like, they aren't necessarily for the Jedi or against them. They don't care about them one way or the other. But to be controlled like that with their character arc and what they stand for, I just don't see that happening.
Well,
They probably were just kind of thrown away before the chip and plantment even began. It's like, oh, well, they're mutated. Don't even waste a chip on them.
well, I don't even know about that. I kind of wonder if this was a plan. Like if Tarkin specifically commissioned these clones. Like this was something that he was trying to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's hard to. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at that point, he would have been a governor of the Mid Rim, correct? On top of being a commander. I just wonder what. I believe he was a governor of the Mid Rim.
I don't really, to be honest with you, I'm a little bit shaky on Tarkin lore. I know he had a pretty big rise through the ranks, and they do have in here if you have the subtitles on, which you should for this trailer because you'll get some stuff. He's an admiral at this point of the show. So I assume he is probably more in line with the, still military career. I'm just assuming on that, but they label him as an admiral for the trailer. So that's where I'm basing it off of. So he probably would have been either an admiral or, I don't know, whatever prior rank would have been. So for me, I think Tarkin, if you would have never had the Emperor, I think Tarkin would have been a sick enemy. Because
I mean, when you really think of the structure of Star Wars, he was set up as the main villain, and he even had some control over Vader. No one was really above him in A New Hope.
But even with that being said, I think he had plans. Maybe not plans.
Almost like Sloane and Hux in a way. I'm going to make my own clones.
Yeah, my
own troopers.
Well, I mean that was Rax, but anyway. But yes.
Well, no, I'm saying with the modified children and Sloane's plan.
Yeah, but that was the Emperor's plan because that was moving.
True.
Was moving through the Emperor. But I do take the point. Sloane is a unique character, and she definitely had her own thoughts on the way an empire should be ran. Because a lot of the things were not in, she kept saying weren't her empire, so to speak. But getting back to Tarkin, I think he would be one of the few people who didn't actually fear the Emperor. And to that end and his meteoric rise, I personally think that he had plans of his own. And I think that the Emperor
almost like a throw on in a way.
Yeah, pretty much. But I think the Emperor probably knew anything that was going on, but I don't think that he really wanted to mess with Tarkin. I think Tarkin, I don't think he would have ever necessarily tried to overthrow the Emperor, but I think he wanted to carve out his own piece. So,
true, and I think the Emperor knew that given free reign, he would be a bigger benefit to the Empire than detriment. So I
think so.
Why would you want to control him? Same with Vader. I mean, it's like this guy's making things happen. Let's just leave him alone.
Yeah. So I think it's within the realm of possibilities to think that maybe this troop could have had some hand in it. But I also think that them continuing to be on Camino, I mean, clones, Rise, Emperor clones. I mean,
yeah. Also, it kind of brings in do they know about the chips? Are they going to find out about the chip process through Camino? Is that going to send them on some kind of mission to, deal with this issue, try and remove chips for other clones? What are they going to discover there?
Right.
Are they going to form allies with the Camino people, or are they going to be enemies? What all is going to happen? That I feel like Camino is going to be the center point of the series. At least I would hope so.
I think it'll come and go.
You think so?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. I think we already said this, but the first episode is being touted as 70 minutes. So over an hour and 10 minutes. That's math. I personally think that in that 70 minutes, we are going to get everything that we are going to get with them being in connection with Camino and the Empire. Then I think what we're going to get is the sort of mission of the week, or them trying to figure stuff out, going out, meeting people, doing Bad Batch things. We do what we do. But I think Camino will come and go episode 1.
Okay.
Or movie.
Do you think we're
1.
going to have a rehash of 66, or are we going to jump completely past that and ignore it?
It'll be past
Just
that.
kind of
I would
acknowledgement.
I think it'll definitely be acknowledged, and there might be some more talk about it, but I think that this is definitely after all that's already gone down. The Empire's firmly in control.
I would agree, because it would be such a rehash, seeing as how they were in, our lead up episode, or our lead up series season into 66 with Clone Wars, and truthfully, they don't have any attachment to Jedi, so why would it be worth talking about? Like,
right.
Order 66 probably just wasn't that big of a deal for the Bad Batch.
Well, I mean, that's the only thing, is that I think that they would be able to question it. I don't know how much...
Question, like, how did they get them all to turn on the Jedi? But, like, as far as, like...
For me, it's why.
What is happening? Yeah. I think with tech, it's going to be like, okay, how'd they do it? Everyone else would be like, this seems weird. Like, why would we do this?
Yeah, I don't think they'll take
overanalyze it.
Yeah, I don't think they'll take the Empire's like dirt sheets on it, their propaganda.
Yeah.
I think that they'll probably start to think about it. I mean, I don't know how much they really had relationship wise with Jedi. We obviously saw them working with Anakin.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I don't know how much other interaction they had with other Jedi, but still, I guess, I don't know. I think that they just start thinking for themselves. I think that, they showed a lot of like, they just want a war. You know what I mean? They just want to beat up people and stuff. And then I don't think that's enough after a certain point.
Yeah.
And we also... go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, one thing I want to bring up to you, I've been kind of listening to other people's predictions, speculation on it. A lot of people seem to think that the beginning of the series is going to start with Echo kind of falling under the control of the chip, and how the Camino arc is going to be them trying to deal with that and get it removed and, fix those issues. I would want to bring up the conversation to you. I don't think Echo has a chip at this point. I think it probably was removed by the Separatists, and he's not even dealing with that at this point. What's your opinion on that?
I don't think that we're gonna get any that sort of conflict with the chip. I think it would be a good way to explain it away if you just said that the Separatists, through all their augmentation of him, either deactivated or took it out.
It just seems hard to believe that they would put that much time and effort into him and not notice the chip or deal with it. Just kind of worrying about it being an issue down the line in his enslavement.
No doubt. I think that's fair. I think that's fair assessment for sure. I don't know. I didn't really think about that all that much, but yeah, I feel I feel like it'll be a non-issue personally.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm fine with. I do like some discussion on the chip. I appreciated what we got to see with Rex and everything, but I don't want it to be a focal point of the series. Mm-hmm. I feel like the whole point of the Bad Batch is getting away from that level of control and being a little more, free-spirited. So that's my hope, at least. and my prediction.
Right.
So what's up with this girl, you think?
Well, let me just back up just a wee bit. But yeah, that's a big thing, obviously. So let me also throw here, because in the trailer we did have the Bad Batch dispatching some droids. So I'm kind of wondering if they're still kind of mopping up some of the old Separatist droids, possibly. And then we also kind of run into some stuff where the Bad Batch look like they're escaping and killing troopers as well. But yeah, let's talk about Omega. This new person who is being touted by a lot of people as potentially a female clone. And
Really?
yeah, first and foremost, I think that stretches the definition of a clone. If she's anything related to Jango Fett and his, whatever DNA, I think that we might be looking at someone more like a test tube baby, somewhere using the genetic makeup of Jango, but like altering it. I don't know specifically why. I mean, they would want to do this with somebody, boy or girl, whatever. I don't really understand the significance. I mean, is it a way to put kids in a kid show? Is there something super interesting about him or about her? I don't know. I don't know.
She could be a 1-episode character for all we know. We have a few different scenes with her. She's got a kind of cool like energy bow that she fights with. We have a scene with her talking with all. Obviously, she knows of the Bad Batch. She's able to name all of them, which kind of. I feel like they'd be fairly obscure. I don't think that most of the galaxy knows of them. I mean, the galaxy really isn't trained to think of clones as anything but clones, so why would they choose to learn any of their names? So there's something about her because of that alone, I think. But whether or not she's going to be a main character is really the question. I mean, I've kind of thought it over, like maybe she's the reason that they have their falling out with the new Empire. Like, for some reason, they rescue her. Maybe she's, like you said, test tube baby. Maybe she's an experiment, or maybe she's a force sensitive. And for some reason, they cling to her, and it causes Tarkin to want to destroy them. But it's hard to say from the trailer what her significance is.
Or maybe she's a Tarkin.
She's a Tarkin clone.
No, she's a kid.
Daughter of Tarkin.
No, maybe not a daughter of Tarkin, but someone from the family.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't get a ton, but I mean, we know that on his home planet, his family was very wealthy. Mm-hmm. Very wealthy.
Yeah.
And we don't know a ton about them. We know some names, but we don't know a ton about them. But at the same token, all I'm trying to bring to the forefront is that I don't, unless you're trying to bring forward a new batch of clones that is somehow better or experimental, then it doesn't make much sense for it to just be a random clone, because what's the point?
Yeah.
It would have to have
a phase where the clones are kind of being phased out. So, why would we care about another one?
Yeah, exactly. So she would have to be very important, or just a regular human who happens to be connected to somebody important. And who's the most important person we saw in this series right now, or in the trailer, is Tarkin. I mean, what if it was like a niece or some cousin or some cousin's kid or whatever? I don't know. I'm just saying.
It makes sense why she knows of the Bad Batch too, because again, probably not that many people are going to know about them. Tarkin's one of the few that obviously does.
Yeah. But, however, with that being said, the name Omega does kind of put you in mind of clone. Mm-hmm. If that's indeed the name. So that, I mean, again, I think that the pointer is probably towards clone. But I would just like it if it were like a a Tarkin family member. I think that'd be kind of cool.
That would be kind of cool.
I'm running
We
off
only
with
really-
the Bad Batch. I don't like you anymore, Uncle Tarkin.
Yeah, that's true. We really only know about his son, so it'd be kind of cool to expand on that a bit.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting. But obviously, this young girl goes with them, as I'm assuming they're escaping. I have to assume this is their escape.
Oh, yeah.
But he does go with them. And it seems like they run some missions here. And again, I think that she's going to be throughout the series. That's my personal thing. I think that there's enough frames and different atmospheres that it's going to be progressive. Another person we saw, by the way, is Saul Guerrera, a younger-ish Saul Guerrera, which is interesting. So maybe they kind of get involved in a little bit of, rebel, screw the Empire.
Yeah.
I mean, we do see a scene
mean,
where they take a tank and destroy another tank. So, just saying.
Yeah, I mean, they easily could become. I don't want to say that they would become members of the rebellion because I don't feel like they would fall in line enough to be, but they could certainly help along the way, just in their own personal rebellion. Helping spark some other rebellions along the way would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Let's see. We'll also say this too, that we have Fennec Shannon here as well. So, again, I mean, she's an assassin / bounty hunter. Why is she here? Probably to get the darn kid back. No?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Because it seems like, she's at odds with the Bad Batch here. We're really going all in on Shan as well. Obviously, Book of Boba.
Which is fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I don't know. The bounty hunter, and again, it might not even be a bounty hunter, or she might not be a bounty hunter here. But I always do like the idea of the sort of unlimited amount of bounty hunters that are in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those little weird things you don't think about when you're focusing on the Jedi and everything else, like how cool some of the bounty hunters are and just how diverse they are.
Yeah. Just the ability to
from
bring in a
Fennec
new
to
one,
be-
I think, would be cool.
Yeah, it's so easy to when you think about it.
Yeah. So,
Could easily end up being that the Bad Batch becomes a bunch of bounty hunters, truthfully.
no, yeah, could be.
They would fall in line with that very easily.
Yeah, could be. So, I mean, again, we'll see when we see, but it does seem like they're getting into some shenanigans. And it looks like they're being chased. And again, I have to think it's over this kid. I just don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. Do you really believe it's a clone? Do you believe she's a clone? Or
Again,
whatever genetic material, augmented female,
Again,
something?
if we go with clone, like this is just like it's a time period where clones are being thrown away. I just don't see. I just guess I don't see the significance of introducing another clone. I mean, unless it's a very integral character to the story. But again, who's she gonna be cloned after? And then you get into this question. It's like, well, is it a clone of a female? Is it gender swapping? It's a clone of some guy. It's like, what? Where do you tie her to? And again, why does she know the Bad Batch if she's not in with Tarkin or another main character? Because again, the Bad Batch just isn't all that well known. They're a cleanup crew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe she's the daughter of a clone. Maybe a clone that knew the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be an epic reveal by far. But I mean, I guess that would be the more subtle approach to take with it.
Yeah, and I'm really overthinking this a lot, but the one thing that I'm kind of going on here is on about is the face. While you're talking, I'm like comparing faces.
Mm-hmm.
The face of this child looks nothing. I mean, and I repeat, nothing like a Django clone.
No.
Like 110% looks nothing like a Django clone.
Although there has been a few, children of clones, and they don't typically take on the clone's DNA for the most part. It's usually the mother's.
I don't think it's a
still.
kid. I mean, again, if it's a kid, I don't think it's a clone's kid. But like when you talk,
It'd be kind of cool if it was Cody's kid.
Well, I guess it's.
But
not,
then again,
it's totally not. But the thing is like their eyebrow ridge is completely different. She has a completely different nose. The only thing that is anywhere close is like the little upturn on the chin.
Mm-hmm.
But like it, all the Django clones also have the really pronounced cheekbones and so forth. They look zero like her. I mean, zero. And again, like just like thinking about like characters in here. I mean, the closest thing I can think of that even halfway looks like this, and now I'm going to look her up, is like Satine, and I'm only going on that because of the blonde hair. Well, I
kind of thought the same thing, honestly. Like, is that a Mandalorian? Is she a Mandalorian? It's like
I have to run my facial recognition software and get my points of reference here, and by that I mean swapping between two different photos of different people, and that's how I'm going to do it.
yeah.
Definitely has the long nose, the longer like nose ridge, like Satine.
Yeah. It's Satine and Kenobi's. No, I'm kidding.
That would be funny.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be the worst series to add her into, but I'd take it.
I don't know. They don't really look anything like it. She has definitely a much more pronounced jaw. Omega. Definitely a more pronounced jaw. Like I said, I mean, it could.
Well, so does Kenobi.
Well, how can you tell under that beard? We'd have to go back to when he was just a Padawan. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't. You know what? I don't really want her to be a clone. I'm just voicing my opinion.
I don't know if I want her to tie in at all to anything. I don't know if I want her to be force sensitive, a clone, a test tube, or anything. Just something new.
I want her to be a Tarkin. Now that I've said it, I want her to. I want her to tie in, because then what is the point of Fennec Shand going after them? What's the point then of any of it? What they would let him go, kill him on sight. I mean, if my theory is right,
Tarkin has hired Fennec to.
If that proves
in your
correct,
theory,
yeah. I mean, if that would prove anywhere correct, I'm just saying it seems like from the few frames we have here that Fennec and the Bad Batch are at odds. It looks like they're trying to like take each other out. Yeah, so and again at this time, the only reason why I would see that they would do that is because she's on a bounty. She's been contracted, and why would she be contracted to just kill a couple troopers who escaped? Well, okay, maybe, but they also have this kid. So correlation is causality. My whole thought process goes into, well, this kid is valuable, so someone has sent Fennec to go pick this kid up. Why? So it's either like a high-level clone experiment, or she's directly related to somebody big.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
You can't really think of any other person in the Empire that would rival Tarkin at that point. So, I mean, like, who else would be that important?
Yeah. And and also in one of the final frames, she has this head thing. You notice that?
Yeah. And her eyes kind of sparkle a bit.
For some
reason.
I think that's just the hyperspace kicking up, and they're doing a little mirror image.
Really?
Personally,
yeah.
But I know that's been pointed out. But I'm more interested in this headdress because it kind of does have a symbol on it that I don't really know about. But all I'm saying is it's an interesting headdress, and I think it would point to somewhere. I mean, why would a clone have that headdress?
Right. Yeah, but then again, why would a Tarkin? It's so
Well,
foreign to
we
everything.
don't necessarily know about everything about their people, so
True.
they could have like some symbol. I have not looked into their planet like at all. It's actually kind of crazy.
For
I
as
never
much
have.
as we love Tarkin.
I
Yeah,
mean,
very true.
Satine liked headdresses. She liked little head things. So did Bo-Katan. Anyway, just saying. I'm just saying.
I'm just ready for the episode. We're 3 days away, and I'm excited. Just kind of, I think honestly, hearing that 70 minutes has me a little more interested because maybe we'll get our backstory of them. Maybe we'll get a little character development we sorely needed in Clone Wars to make me care about any of them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit more excited about it. I think now that we're back into speculation mode, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's more content. It's something familiar. It's not necessarily what I would call new either. It's just expanding on the universe. You saw the poster thing, the promo picture with all the clones like looking up. I thought that was pretty cool promo picture. So that was neat. And then again, we're back to the Friday releases too, which I think is pretty cool as well. I think that that's a good move. I think that they've learned. I really do think that they've learned that that's the way to do it. Because that was the same with WandaVision. That wasn't a dump either.
Yeah, no, I would not be excited about this at all if we had gotten it all at once. I like my weekly. But
yeah,
I think that we're probably a minority with that, truthfully. I think most people are annoyed by that.
I don't think they are anymore.
Man, I hear a lot of hate about that, though.
I think it's because everybody talks in memes. It's again, it's Nickelback syndrome. We talked about that last week. I don't think everybody hates it at all. I think it builds the anticipation and makes you appreciate things more.
True.
But what do I know? I'm just a loser with a podcast.
Millennials. Stupid millennials.
Oh no, my side part or whatever was, POing people lately. I don't know, man. Well, anyway,
Don't follow it.
What else? What else do we have? Do we have anything else we want to talk about with the trailer?
No, and truthfully, we've kind of gone over all Bad Batch lore. It's not like we have anything else, so I think we're speculated out.
Okay. Well, at any rate, I think this should be pretty interesting. Hopefully, we have a good season ahead of us. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. Only 3 days, and we'll watch the first episode, and it'll be
I'm much more excited than I was when it was announced. Let's put it that way.
correct. Yeah, it'll be a week before you guys get our reaction. But again, we're just gonna stick to schedule. We're not trying to get anything out. We did that with Mando, and I mean that was fine. But I mean
Mando was a little more worth it, though. I would say.
Yeah. So
Hey, we'll be on time for episode 2. We'll put it that way. Almost.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess that's about all for us, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed the show today. If you have any of your own theories that you'd like to share with us, obviously follow us on Twitter at TC Plan Podcast. You can also hit us up on Facebook, or just send us a good old-fashioned email, and we will read that on the podcast. And our email address is tcplanpodcast@gmail.com. All that stuff is in the description or show notes below. So, yeah, give us a holler. We'd love to hear from you. But that's it for this week. So you guys have a good one.
And as always, may the Force be with you.